North Carolina just got hit with a new variant of coronavirus. Doctors say this one potentially spreads faster than Delta. But how much faster? The answer can be found in what gets flushed down the drain. Plus, it seems like there's a steady stream of new variants popping up all the time. Doctors are worried one day there'll be a variant that will outsmart the vaccine. But researchers at Duke and UNC have some good news on that front. Let's dig into it. COVID-19 continues mutating into new variants. Doctors have found so many at this point, you could make a family tree. There's the Alpha, Delta, Lambda, and the Mu variants, just to name a few. Plus, North Carolina just confirmed its first case of a new variant called Delta Plus. Now, to really understand what this means for you, let's take a closer look at where Delta Plus comes from, its branch of that family tree. We started with the original coronavirus. From there, it was developed into the Delta and then spread everywhere this summer. Now, Delta has turned into Delta Plus. You could think of it kind of like COVID's grandchildren. Delta Plus is in 8 states now, scattered all across the country at the moment. Researchers with the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center say the new Delta Plus variant is slightly more contagious. A sick person spread the original coronavirus to 1 or 2 people. Delta increased that number to between 4 to 6. And doctors say someone sick with Delta Plus could infect as many as 8 people. But doctors say we don't want to hit the panic button just yet. The state only has 1 confirmed case so far. I'm Ben Briscoe. From now until 6, we're going to dig into this Delta Plus and how health officials plan to minimize your risk from this and other future mutations of the virus. The CDC says the original Delta variant should still be our primary concern. It is the main strain spreading among people, and it gave the agency a wake-up call this summer.
The Delta variant reminded us we need to be humble in our response to this virus and to follow the science as we modify guidance and address the pandemic. Here are a few things we've learned over the last 4 months. First, the Delta variant is notably more contagious and spreads faster than previous variants. Second, though breakthrough infections are infrequent, vaccinated individuals who are infected with Delta are able to transmit the virus. And third, while we have seen waning vaccine-induced immunity in certain populations, leading us to recommend the rollout of booster shots, COVID-19 vaccines are still highly effective and provide strong protection, particularly against severe disease, hospitalization, and death.
I don't know about you, but every time I see one of these stories about a new variant popping up, my heart kind of skips a beat. It's a little scary. Doctors say it is normal for viruses to mutate. They expected this. And all RNA viruses change and evolve over time. As they spread, small changes to their genes happen. Eventually, the changes become significant enough that they form variants. That's why doctors have found so many. In fact, a Johns Hopkins doctor says experts discover new COVID variants every week, but only a few of them are important enough to let the public know. Let's compare that to the flu. Each year, a new strain of the flu or variant goes around. That's why doctors suggest getting a new flu shot each year. They say there's 4 main variants of the flu this year. So, if variants are normal, why should you care? Well, doctors fear that one day, maybe, a new variant will form that outsmarts our current vaccine. Right now, doctors classify all the most serious mutations we see as variants of concern. That means they are more likely to cause breakthrough infections, but doctors worry a mutation will become a variant of high consequence, meaning current vaccines may not work against them. That's why doctors want to limit the number of variants that form. They say the best way to do this is by getting people vaccinated. Researchers wanted a way to see which variants are spreading the fastest in their communities. So since you can't test everyone in the community, they decided, hey, let's take samples from the city's water waste. One of the researchers says the other variants are out there, but from what they've seen, the original Delta variant has got to be our main focus.
I actually think what we're going to see is that Delta is going to be the baseline from now on, because it's basically taken over everywhere it's been in the world.
Researchers are going to keep monitoring the wastewater to see if any of the trends change. Now, health officials in universities across North Carolina have done this type of research right here. UNC Charlotte tested wastewater around dorms and other campus buildings. They say it helps find people sick with COVID. They extract RNA samples from the water and test it. If the test comes back positive, school administration knows exactly which building it came from, and they can then decide what steps to take next. The school says the testing system helps them stay ahead of COVID outbreaks. And that is not the only COVID research going on at North Carolina schools. A new study from Duke and UNC shows that COVID antibodies could be changing with all these variants we're seeing. The researchers on the study think that could help develop a new vaccine to stay ahead of future variants. The researchers found a small portion of the antibodies formed after catching the current version of coronavirus can also fight off other forms of COVID. They tested their theory in mice. Researchers say it has the ability to stop the virus from spreading. Now, the team of scientists caution that more research has got to be done, but one day the antibodies might be the key to developing a vaccine that covers future variants too. A separate study published in the scientific journal Nature found a way to solve the problem with variants also. Some variants resist antibody treatments, but the research says they found an antibody that variants can't avoid. They tested it on hamsters. They say it works. Researchers think this could be used as a treatment for other variants after more tests. Again, both of those studies are in the early phase, but they are a lot of hope for people out there. And they suggest that we are not just a fate of Mother Nature. We can actually do this. But research says the best tool we have in fighting all this is, of course, COVID-19 vaccines, which takes us back to that family tree of coronavirus variants. There's only one way from keeping this thing from getting bigger. We got to chop it down. Doctors say we can do that if everyone gets vaccinated, because the vaccines prevent the virus from spreading, which in turn prevents the chances of more mutations.